Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm your host, Dr. Haider Shah. On behalf of Kalwas, I would like to welcome all of you to this webinar. Thank you very much for joining us. Today we have another very interesting topic, and I'm really honored to welcome and introduce our distinguished guest speaker who is going to talk about teaching English to speaker of others languages in a global perspective lessons learned. As the world becomes increasingly interconnected, the role of the English language teaching continues to evolve, presenting both opportunities and challenges. In this session, we will explore the key insights and experiences from the field of TESOL, drawing from diverse global contexts to understand how educators can adapt and succeed in today's dynamic environment. So, indeed, a very interesting topic, and I'm sure you will learn a lot from this session as we have an expert with us in today's this session. So, stay tuned because an amazing stuff are coming ahead in this session. So, before we start, I would like to thank Kalwas for arranging such enlightenment sessions for their support and providing us such a wonderful platform. The aim of Kalwas is to give you the opportunity to connect and interact with world-renowned speakers, academic leaders, teachers, authors, researchers, experts, professionals, and businessmen to learn from their experiences, recommendation, and suggestions, which will create an impact and will enable you to learn and develop yourself in order to grow and transform individually, as well as to contribute to the world in a positive way. As our slogan is come, learn, and share knowledge. So today we have an amazing person as guest. She's a versatile person with a great qualities, having vast experience and exposure. She's internationally known and recognized speaker. We always see her while contributing to the world and field on the different platforms. And through her great knowledge and wisdom, people are getting the right kind of guidance and knowledge. So let me introduce her formally. She is assistant professor, head of English for International Communication Program, and the head of International Relation Office, Rajamangala University of Technology, Thailand. Her education background is that she completed her his doctorate degree in 2012, Doctor of Education, the teaching English to the speaker of others language, University of South Australia. She did her master's degree of arts in English from the University of Naresuan University, Thailand, and she also did the bachelor degree in 1997 degree of arts in English from the same university from Thailand. She has a multiple academic employments. Some of them are from 2016 to present. She is the head of the English of International Communication Program and head of International Relations. From 2012 to 2016, she remained the head of liberal arts and head of language center at the same university. Along with that, she has participated in multiple national and international conferences as a presenter. Along with that, she has multiple research publication in various renowned journals. In addition to that, she remained a plenary speaker, peer reviewer, keynote speaker, and she is the recipient of multiple awards like Nobel Asian Researcher Star 2020. Last but not the least, she is a wonderful professor, educator, researcher, trainer, and a wonderful person as a human being. So please help me in welcoming our guest, Associate Professor Dr. SAWITRI Suwanarao. Welcome to the Kalwas platform, and thank you very much for joining us, Prof.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Doctor. That's really introduced me very wonderfully for tonight. That I appreciated that. First of all, I would like to say thank you again to inviting me, being a part of your speaker. That you already mentioned to me that you also invited a speaker that have a multidisciplinary knowledge and expertise, and already, especially to share the knowledge and experience. Especially me, I'm a lecturer at the university and also gain the experience of teaching English for, I think, almost 20 years now, and also gain the experience of other as well as invited as a speaker. You already see it from my CV, and interpreter, translator, peer reviewer, and the other jobs as well that related to using the English language for the Thai people and internationally. All right. Can I start
Yeah,
my
sure, sure, please.
presentation for
Over to you,
tonight?
Prof. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Okay. Let me start. Sorry. Oh, why it's come back, sir? Oh, okay. Hmm? Previous. Okay. Let me start. Can I start now?
Sure, Prof. Over to you. Thank you.
Okay. Let me briefly introduce myself again, even after the doctor already mentioned me about my full name and my experience. And I have to say thank you and good night. No, sorry. Yes, good night, actually. All of you to participate in this event, especially for someone that really interested in English language or learning English language, especially someone who might learn about the AI. I think already, or I mean, a lot of people already knows about that. Let me introduce myself briefly and show you about my university and the very beautiful scenery. And you might already know or have not knows about my university. My name is Dr. Sawitri Suwanaroa, and I already have the academic ranking as assistant professor. And then later on, I will propose for my associate professor. I think it's about next year. And this is my email address. My university name is Rachamankara University of Technology Lanna Tak, Kingdom of Thailand. Then this is one of the photo that I already took by myself. And then I put on this to show how beautiful it is. This is the temple, actually, very beautiful. It's located in front of our university. This is our Buddha goddess that be, we believe that he really the one that created our university. Later on, this is a multi-purpose building, which is located near the front gate. And the other is engineering building. This is a civil engineering building. And the other as well. Our university is located in the northern part of Thailand, which is some of you might know or some of you might not know. You might think that, where is it? Is it near Bangkok? I would say no, it's quite very far from Bangkok. It's about 560 kilometers far from Bangkok. But the lower part of Thailand, lower northern part of Thailand, which is from Chiang Mai, you might take 3 hour driving from that. I think you already knows about Chiang Mai, which is a very, very beautiful tourist attraction place that a lot of tourists will visit and stay there for a certain of time. All right, I won't take you too much time to knows about what the topic that I'm going to present today. I think some of you already knows about Chat GPT. I think up to the present, Chat GPT is already launched the version 4.0 version, I think, which is if you would like to get a very deep and vast information, you probably might to subscribe or pay monthly so you can get something that not the version 3.5 or 3 can really give you that information. Okay, but for today, what I'm going to talking about is I will review of the SWOT analysis of the ChatGPT implication for teaching, learning, and research. I will tell you that what it the SWOT stand for later on. I will talk briefly about the abstract. Will be one of my paper that I'm going to publish for the Scopus Index journals. I think I might polish a little bit more, implement of the theory, or put the update news informations about the chat GPT or the other AI tool that really give you a pro and cons. So will be very, very good. I think paper that will be published later on. This research paper presents a comprehensive reviews of the SWOT, which is stand for strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat, analysis of the ChatGPT, and advanced the language model developed by the OpenAI. I think or some of you already know the OpenAI means, with a specific focus on its implication for educational practice and research. Through an in-depth examinations of scholarly literature and relevant case study, so this study explore the internal and external factor that really impact the effectiveness and potential of using the ChatGPT, especially in our educational setting. So the review to highlight the strength of the ChatGPT, including its ability to generate coherent responses, offer personalized feedback, and engage learner in the very interactive conversations. And I think these strengths provide valuable opportunity for enhancing educational practice, such as personalized instructions, adaptive learning, and even intelligent tutoring system. And however, even the analysis also review weaknesses such as bias in the model responses, limitation in understanding context, and potential ethical concerns still exist. And so, nevertheless, the review of the acknowledgement, the threat associated with the ChatGPT, such as data privacy, security risks, and the need for ongoing model update. So addressing these threats require monitoring, transparency, and continuous improvement of the technology. So this research contribute to the understanding of the SWOT analysis, which is you already know, strength, weaknesses, opportunity, and threat analysis of the ChatGPT. In the first part, I will focus really on the ChatGPT, but later on, I will review all of you, or I can say in a very understanding way that make the comparison between the other AIs too and ChatGPT, and give you the pros and cons, and then later on to the conclusion of this presentation, so you will see that which one that might perfectly met all of your need to use in educational setting. So I will continuously saying that for these contributions of the context of the education, offering valuable insight for educator, researcher, and policy maker. So by recognizing the implication and the strength, while mitigating the weaknesses and addressing the threat, stakeholder, you already know stakeholder who will be, can harness the potential of ChatGPT effectively in educational practice and research. For the keywords in this paper, mainly talk about ChatGPT, SWOT analysis, educational practice, research, and implication. So let me start. Introductions about what the AI, how can it contribute, or who created that. So artificial intelligence, or we know that AI, refer to the science and engineering and creating systems that are capable to perform tasks commonly associated with the intelligent being, such as learning, judgment, and even decision making. AI has been shown to be successful in solving complex problems in various domains, including education. And the application of AI in the natural language processing field has resulted in the creation of intelligent chatbot, which is we already know right now, and very powerful chatbot, which is we know as ChatGPT. And what is ChatGPT? You might have this question pop up in your mind. So I give you the answer. ChatGPT is a chatbot or is a software program that use user input to stimulate human-like interaction. The ChatGPT chatbot was first created by San Francisco-based OpenAI on November 30 of 2022. The chatbot was made available for free public testing, and today you will look at the ChatGPT and attempt to figure it out what it all means. ChatGPT is an advanced chatbot based on the OpenAI GPT technology, and it is capable of handling a broad variety of text-based requests ranking from basic query and reply to more complicated job. And you might know one more thing is that you can put the prompt into that chatbot, and then it will really rapidly create the answer to you. Or even you don't like that answer, you can even, repeat it again and again until you feel satisfied with your answer. This is what the genius chatbot is about ChatGPT. And OpenAI ChatGPT is a big language model designed as a conversational agent, and ChatGPT as a big language model, and it's trained on a vast volume of data. For example, you can see this picture clearly. If you need assistance writing a message to your colleague and you don't know what to do, you download the ChatGPT. And ChatGPT can very quickly develop a meaningful and well-written letter for you. And similarly, if you need to address a problem with a colleague productively but don't know what to say, so ChatGPT can help, of course, with its enormous data warehouse and efficient architecture, and even author dissertation, which is very, this is we will have to take into consideration concerning the ethics that is not probably not quite very what I mean promptly to use that on the themes such as usefulness of artificial intelligence. So this is a ChatGPT distinct value for academic researcher. How does it work? You might ask another question. Yes, ChatGPT is a model employ reinforcement learning from human feedback, or we call RLHM, employing the same approach and instruct ChatGPT, but with the subtle variation in the data gathering arrangement according to OpenAI. So we use supervised fine tuning to train an initial models. So human-like trainer offer dialogue in which they play both sides and the user and the AI assistant. So we provided the trainer with model written idea to assist them in composing their reply. It's like I mentioned to you earlier, we call prompt. So even right now they have the we call prompt manual, which is you can download from probably Google Form or whatever, Google Scholar, I think. So you know how to use, simply say instruction to really ask the ChatGPT to really helping you for your job. So to build a reinforcement learning renew model, we require to gather comparison data which comprise of the two or more model reply graded by quality. So we gather this information by recording talk between AI trainer and the chatbot. And then we choose the model written phrase at randomly, sample various potential completion, and had AI trainers guarded. And we may use proximal policy optimization to fine-tune the model using this reward model. And this method was repeated numerous times. It's like I said, it contains a lot of data and it's called and can repeat, like I said, numerous times. So I will give you a background or the literature review concerning of the created of the ChatGPT. From the 2022, from Azaria, highlight a starting of ChatGPT prejudice towards the uses of doing a digit, in number. The researcher discovered a strong relationship between the frequency of digit created by ChatGPT and people's favorite number, with the most common digit generated by the ChatGPT, matching humans, and more preferred number. He also discussed some of the benefit of ChatGPT being designed as a conversational agent, as well as some of its drawback. Yes, of course, they have advantage, so they might create disadvantage. We have to face the truth. And then Ken Jump in 2020 explained how artificial intelligence, or we know AI, can and is employed in the educational fields. AI ED is one of the presently expanding disciplines in educational technology, according to the 21st International Conference on Artificial Intelligence in Educational Health in 2020. The usage of AI is still unknown for educators in terms of how to utilize it for pedagogical purpose on a larger scale and how AI may affect teaching and learning in higher education. You see, at that time, 2020, it's still very new, but now I don't think it's new anymore. For Cobb et al. In 2020, he said that provide some preliminary answer. First, theoretically, and then practically review of the outcome of many experimental implementation that have been recorded in more detail elsewhere. Uh, our major result in that artificial intelligence will never take over the position of teacher in the setting of electronic computing techniques developed over the last 3/4 of a century, since how it's operate and what is accomplished are so fundamentally different from human intelligence. So you can see from the last scholar. So I myself, behalf of a teacher, a lecturer at the university, will feel relieved and feel more comfortable that we still a human being and we still can believe that these AI will not take over us. But we have to see. Now we cannot get the answer yet, right? But we can still have the scholar that really show and probably give us the compliment that don't feel thrilled or overwhelming by using of the AI, and it might one day take over our job. That is, we feel insecure already, sir. However, given the constraint described in this work, it has the potential to revolutionize. And then we come to the point of the SWOT analysis frames. SWOT is the acronym that stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunity, and the threat. This is what researched and investigated this information for. What is the strength of ChatGPT, especially for educational setting? First, enhancing pedagogical practice. Of course, it's really help us. Being an assistant. As there are a number of innovative features offered by ChatGPT, it is advantageous for teachers to improve pedagogical practice by designing and integrating interactive classroom activity. This is the first one. Second one, offering virtual personal tutoring. Yes, you hear it right. Unlike a traditional tutoring method, it already said, ChatGPT is a potential tool that can be used as an ideal personal tutor for students. For the scholar in 2023 and 22, they stated that students could receive the feedback and individual answer by asking ChatGPT that can offer intellectual tutoring service virtually. So you can see that. So we don't need to employ or the tutor to really help us anymore. For the weaknesses of the ChatGPT, the first one is academic integrity issue. Due to the capacity of the ChatGPT in generating output based on various prompts submitted by user, yes, for example, student, it could be unethically utilized, yes, of course. That is, it used maybe against the standard of academic integrity. It may lead to the case of plagiarism when AI is legitimate to produce a response or article unless it used in is declared or the source are properly cited, yes. And if the student fail to cite the source produced by the chatbot in their assignment or their research paper, it could result in academic misconduct and dishonesty, detrimental to their academic success in the long run. Second one, what is the weaknesses? The difficulty in evaluating the quality of the responses. ChatGPT lacks the human ability to assess the credibility of data is was trained on. This weakness limits its capacity to evaluate the accuracy of the generated information. And ChatGPT doesn't have access to the internet, but an update version can, I think, access to the internet, and currently had limited knowledge of the world event up to 2021. But as knowledge continue to evolve, and this limitation may sometimes result in the provision of outdated and inaccurate responses. For the opportunity for education, first one, decreasing teaching workload. Yes, we love it, because if we have the overwhelming of the teaching load, we don't have much time for doing the research or the other tasks that it might really help us to have a career development or improvement. ChatGPT holds the great potential to considerably decrease the teacher workload. For example, it can be used as a feedback tool to give feedback on student tasks, essay, or even assignment. So teacher can ask ChatGPT to create different form of the test. Yes, you can see, such as open-ended question, multiple choice, or even the rubric for evaluating student assignment. This is very helpful, I think. But another opportunity is that increasing accessibility of information. Yes, you know that, right? ChatGPT can offer student or even teacher easy access to information through a variety of the platform, websites, or smartphone application, or in a variety of fields. ChatGPT can find and summarize relevant information. And for the teacher, ChatGPT can even assist them in identifying and creating relevant teaching material, which is I already did, and which is helping me to write the lesson plan for 15 weeks in a very short, a few minutes. Very amazing. For the threat to education, we cannot deny to really talk about it. First, lack of understanding of the context. The lack of a deep understanding of the context and the true meaning behind words may pose various risks, especially within the realms of education. For example, ChatGPT used for personalized learning may not have a deep understanding of curriculum, the learning style of each student, and even the cultural context in which the student live, resulting in contents that recommendations that are either too difficult or too easy for students. Threatening academic integrity. With the emergence of ChatGPT, many concerns have been raised about online assessment security and cheating. I think you already learned this one in online exam through using the ChatGPT. ChatGPT has been shown to generate human-like text, which could pose a potential risk to the integrity of online exam, especially in higher education setting. Yes, I believe it, where such exams are becoming more prevalent. And it is also shown that ChatGPT has the potential to respond sufficiently to exam questions in the field of medical. So you see, they even get through the field of medical already. So next, yes, come to the very update one. So I just investigate and get the research 2 or 3 days ago, because I want you to get the update informations about not only ChatGPT itself. So we should have the comparison from the table number 1 that I created for you all, comparing the difference generative AI tool based on the pros and cons, which is very update one, 2024. Yes, of course, we start with our main star tonight, ChatGPT. Pros: it can generate highly human-right responses. It can be fine-tuned for specific tasks and can handle input sequences of variable range. But the cons is that require large amount of pre-training data. It can be compute computational non expensive. Sorry, its data is not very recent and does not generate result later than 2021. And Gemini, I think the original name is Google Bot. Am I right, sir? Yeah, I think it is. And then later on, they developed to be Gemini. It is in a sync with the Google search, generating more updated result. It can generate different creative text format of text content like poems, code, script, musical pieces, email, and letter. And you can see they can give you a variety of information. But for the cons, it sometimes generate repetitive output. You see, it can be erroneous and sometimes generate wrong or inconsistent output. And the last one is that sometimes it has limited generative capacity as it can produce long form of article. Next, Microsoft Bing Chat. What are their pro? Responses have a high degree of accuracy. You can see that. It cites sources for its responses. It can generate image to in the chat box where text is generated. For the cons, you can only generate 30 responses per session, limited. Slightly slower response times. Responses are generally shortened with less detail, and you can see that. Hugging Chat, it is open source, currently the only open source generated AI, and it can be modified and improved rapidly. It generates updated response, and it can be used freely with no limitation at all. Wow. Because if you have the experience of using this AI, ChatGPT have the limited per 1 day. How much you can use for that. If you want to use more, you have to pay more. For the cons, the data used in training was updated up to 2020 first and not beyond that. Compared to other generated AI, its training data is limited, 65 billion parameter. And the last one is that it is less reliable as a result of its limited training data. So you need to really put into your consideration of using this one. Jasper AI, for pros, it is extremely versatile. It has a simple to use interface. It can generate content quickly. Yes. For the cons, it isn't free. Oh my, it isn't free. Already said it isn't free. So even the trial mode lasts for just 7 days and require the user to input their credit card detail upon registration. So it means that you need to pay later on if you want to use it. User can only access its chatbot on the boss mode or higher subscription, which is quite expensive. And the information is generated doesn't always add up. You need to be very aware of this issue. Cora Pro provide a single platform for accessing multiple AI tools, allow users to generate contents for multiple AI model and compare. And user only create a single account and they can access about 5 different chatbots. Wow. So for the cons, having multiple AI model in one platform sometimes make it difficult to really decide which to use or best. So you don't know which one. There is still a subscription fee for accessing some of the AI model listed, like GPT-4 and the others. The interface for some of the AI model in Poe is not as good as that used to access the AI model directly. For instance, ChatGPT has a better interface than it does in Poe. So you can see that will give you the implication that which one better than the others. Okay, for the challenges and problems in developing an AI generative tool, I summarize into 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 points that you will be aware of that. Data limitation. Generative model require massive amount of high quality data for training because they are generally composed of deep learning architecture that require an enormous quantity of the data to perform well. Number 2, computational cost. Training and running large generative AI models require substantial computational resources like graphic processing unit and high performance computing system, and making them less accessible to smaller organizations and individuals, of course. Number 3, explainability and interpretability. Building explainable generative AI is almost as difficult as understanding how generative AI model makes decisions and what factor influence the output. The lack of transparency can raise the concern about bias, fairness, and even accountability. Number 4, safety and security. Generative AI model can be misused to create harmful contents such as deepfake or hate speech. It is crucial to develop safeguards and mitigations to ensure responsible use of this technology. And the last point is that lack of skill. Developing generative AI requires special skill in AI and deep learning, which can be difficult to find. This becomes a challenge for startups looking to incorporate a customized generative AI solution tailored to meet their specific business need. And last but not the least, come to the conclusion and future work. Generative AI tools have come to stay, and of course, their use and advantages outweigh their disadvantages in several ways. The generative AI tool we have investigated have been designed for specific purpose and use cases. There is an overlap in the ideal use cases each tool was designed to use. We also observed that while they are all generative AI tools and can generate text, some are better at certain tasks. You already know from the pros and cons. For instance, ChatGPT may be ideal for creative writing, but Googlebot or Gemini may be a better option for academic writing. Some common tasks can be carried out reasonably similarly by all the AI tools discussed in this presentation, I would say. And there is still room for more research in privacy and safety concern while using generative AI, particularly in academia. This area is currently generating critical discourse in the scientific community, and we hope that more work will be done in the future. And this is the references that I consult. And thank you for listening. This is my name, my university name, and my email address. If you have further inquiry after this presentation that I might not answer your question, please feel free to really email me. And thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much, Prof, for your wonderful presentation and educating us on wonderful topic. And nowadays, the world belongs to the digital technologies and how we are efficient and effective in utilizing those technologies in order to improve our work. I really appreciate the way you talked about the history of the chat GPT and how it came to existence. and what is the role of the chat GPT. And I like the way you just talked about the strength and weaknesses and what are the threats and opportunities related to this technology. Technology comes with the double-edged sword, which has positive and negative side. So it is entirely depending upon the user. How do they use it, whether in a positive way or a negative way? So it's just a tool. How can we use it? So you describe it a very wonderful way, very nicely. And thank you very much. Such a wonderful content, and congratulations on your research work on this wonderful topic. Because nowadays I usually see the different research which is particularly related to the chat GPT. And as you mentioned as well that now there is unethical side of the chat GPT as well. And we particularly as a teacher and instructor in the class, our role has become more challenging in order to identify the work done by the chat GPT. And the similarly we can say that we can improve our work by the chat GPT, but it again it depends on how do we use it. So thank you very much, and there are certain questions which are waiting for your explanation and illustration. So should we start with the first question, please? Yeah, so let me just show on the screen the question, please. The question is how can ChatGPT be used to collaborate with other researchers or students in ethical and productive way? Your opinion on that, please.
Oh, I think it's a very good question because we already concerned of the ethical issue that we are going to use in incorrect way. So how can ChatGPT be used to collaborate with the other researcher or student in an ethical and productive way? I think from my point of view and based on my own work that I'm working collaborate with my English major student, which is they produce the paper. Topic is about using, sorry, not using, the impacts of using the chat GPT for writing courses. So I think we can use ChatGPT to really help us to create the paper, but we are not really largely depend on them that too much. We might get some idea of the draft or the outline of the topic that we are going to really investigate in our research or with other researchers in the teams. So we might get that as an outline or guideline, but we cannot really use those all informations because if you use the chat GPT correctly or promptly, you will know that they still have the limitations. They can only give you the information, but later on you need to double check the correctness of the references of those content that you get from them. But I will say draftly that you can ask them to really help you about getting the topic or the similar topic of the research or even the outline or the guideline of your research in which way that might be matched, perfectly matched to the updates information, sir.
Wow, very nice, wonderful answer to this question. And now another very interesting question that is related to the critical thinking, because a lot of there are critics that now because of the chat GPT we cannot think in a critical way. So what is your response to this question? The question is how can chat GPT be used to enhance critical thinking skills in academic work? Yes, please.
Another good question is, I think, of course, ChatGPT really help us. For example, myself, again, based on my own, I'm writing the paper or even writing the something that I'm going to use that one to really teach my student. I can really ask them about how can you create, typing that instruction as we call prompt, right? With really, could you please help us in creating the lesson plan or the topic with critical thinking skill or critical thinking idea that really helped my student? So it will create in a very uh, rapid way to really help us. This is one way that I'm used. And then another example is that how can ChatGPT be used to enhance critical thinking skill? If you can remember, I already mentioned earlier in before my presentation said or already done finished. If you use the ChatGPT promptly, it will have one button below of the ChatGPT box. It said that if you're not satisfied with that, you will revise. So it's mean helping you. If you really want to have more critical thinking skill or more critical work, you can have a different, or and then later on you make a comparison between they really created you with the task that you really want. It really help you to have critical thinking skill, I think.
Very nice, wonderful answer to this question as well. And since we are short of the time, so one last question we will be taking. The last question is very interesting as well. They want to ask that what are some best practices for using ChatGPT to generate ideas and inspiration for academic projects? Yes, please.
What are some of the best practice of using ChatGPT? I think it's good to really ask because, for example, if you have the project that going to use English language to really help community, society, or even the student or even the researcher, you can really use the ChatGPT programs to really help you generate the idea. Because if you try to use it, what I will say later on is that you might really addict. So don't overuse it. Sometimes you need to put it aside. You have to think first, and then if you stuck on one idea, you might let them help. But I would say it again, be careful. Don't really addict to that. Because if you addict to that, you will really use it all the time. Even my student is like the doctor said that my student, when I assign them to really like one essay or one assignment, especially for the writing course, sometimes they really use this program. It's not really help their idea at all. I think they copy and paste. They don't even think about it by themselves. But anyway, the best practice for using ChatGPT to generate idea is like I mentioned. You put some keyword and then let them help you. But if you satisfy, just put it aside and then create by your own idea. And they really can help you. Thank you so much.
Wow, very nice, wonderful answers to different questions. And I believe the same thing. So, what I have understood from your answer as well, that there is a human element, and we should not be forgetting that human element. You definitely use it, but again, you have to use your own mind and critically observe this idea, and then try to bridge the gap and connect the different dots in order to come up with the new ideas. So overall, wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Savitri, for your wonderful content and powerful presentation. And I like the way you just answered the questions. Very nice, wonderful. Dr. Savitri, we at the end of the session we ask our each guest regarding their message to the world. So, what is your message to the world as a speaker, author, teacher, researcher, trainer, learner, and educator? Yes, please.
Thank you so much again, sir. And then it's my pleasure to really challenge. I'm not using the word teaching, sharing my idea, my knowledge, and my expertise to all of you throughout the world. Maybe the different part of the world, the other sides of the world, I would say. I'm very happy and I really feel appreciated your dedication that invite all the speaker, especially for the lecturer, that they learns a lot. They gain a lot of knowledge and experience and share to the world. And I think that AI, if we use in the correct way, it will be useful. It's like I says again, don't addict to that. You should use, time to time, randomly. but we can deny to the um, up I mean present world right now situation that we can deny that we are not going to use it. Yes, of course, but use it as a friends, not let them take over us. That's all. Thank you, sir.
Wow, wonderful message you have given to the world, and I noticed that you use the word "don't addict to it" and don't use it as it is. So very nice because there are certain limitations. It is the technology, it is the tool, and it has some limitations. So we need to consider that thing, and we need to have our own input in that. So wonderful message you have given to the world. Uh, that's all. So do follow our distinguished guest speaker through her research work, and you can email her for future learning and guidance. She is very generous and always ready to help the people. And moreover, we will be adding her details and email address in the description of this video so that you can interact with her easily and in a comfortable way. So that's all we have time for today. And thank you once again, Dr. Savitri, for your precious time and wonderful presentation and content. I would like to thank our audience who joined us. If you have any additional questions about information shared today, please email us or connect to the speaker directly through her email or the social media account. Thank you all for your support and liking our session. Stay tuned as many sessions are on the way. Please do not miss any session. Until next session, take care of yourself. Bye bye.
Bye bye.